Lake Forest podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. We offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M. Lori Fitzgerald. Sup?
Sup, Pete? Where's Joe?
Yeah, he's special.
Is he sleeping in?
Special. He's taking his meds.
You sound like you're under the weather.
Oh, I got a little coof.
Yeah.
There he is. At that Lake Forest Scouts game. Got me.
I saw. Where were you, at Chiefs?
Yeah, we're at Chiefs having a few.
Still recovering?
Yeah.
Hey, Lori.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good. How are you? I guess we can say congratulations.
I think we can.
Unless we see a bunch of people walking in with pencils to the polling place to write in someone else.
Write in names, yeah.
Well, they actually have, I don't want to give out too much information, but they actually have to file.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Dad. That's nice. That's
oh, you like
nice.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
What's that stand for?
What? The LU? Liberty University.
No, the DAD. Never mind. Lori, this is what you missed.
I know.
Lori, what was the first time you were on the show?
The first time I was on the show was that 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
Lori, you reached out to me. What happened during the elections? Are you telling me some people are talking some trash during election time? That can't be the case.
No. No, you know what? It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed going through the process. This was the first time for me. To be honest, when I went into it, I didn't even know what the process was. I didn't know, who was on the caucus, how to reach out to the caucus. I didn't even know that the caucus had a interview slate of vetted candidates. So this was, brand new territory for me, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and it was a great learning experience.
And that was the Let's Do Better campaign. Can you give everybody a heads up on that?
Yeah. Where to begin?
Well, you've always wanted to pitch in, so let's start there.
Yeah.
You just want to help, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think like a lot of Americans, we just want safe communities and good schools. That's it. minimal government. I'm not in the business of telling people how they should live. Live and let live, right? And you come to a nice town like Lake Forest, and you move here because you want good schools for your kids and you want a safe community to raise your family, right? And you put your head down and you go about your day and you live your life and you don't really care how other people are living their life until all of a sudden somebody comes and says your kids are no longer able to come in the building, and we all have to wear masks, and then suddenly everybody starts paying attention, and that's when I started to pay attention, and I didn't even know that the caucus existed. I That sounds extremely ignorant, but it's the truth. I was focused on working hard, providing for my kids, and live and let live. And so I was watching the Zoom meetings, like everybody else was, trying to figure out, are my kids going to be at home or are they going to be able to go back to school? And I just kind of felt like the people that were making the decisions, I felt like did not represent or didn't understand what the average community parent was going through at that time. And it compelled me to throw my hat in and to run for the school board. And it wasn't until after throwing my hat in and making the decision to run did all of a sudden I become aware of, that there's this institution since the 1930s called the caucus. And they say you learn more from your failures than you do your successes. And so I learned about the caucus and the process, and they reached out a couple of times. I actually, if you go back and look at the dates, I did go and fill out my volunteer profile, the VPS form, after the whole school board thing was over, because I was genuinely, it spurred me to become genuinely interested in getting involved with our community. So I've learned the caucus is a phenomenal institution. These are volunteer people, and there's 43 of them, and they're literally volunteering their own personal time to seek out other volunteers to serve in our community. And it's everything. It's not just the school board, and it's not just the mayor. It's the cemetery board, the building review board, the library board, Parks and Rec. There are a lot of positions. As you know, you were part of the caucus, right? For a while.
Well,
I don't think he likes to bring that up.
Well, no. I still got a year of eligibility. I got to get the right leader in there. But the way it started was like I was interviewing all the people for District 67 school board, and I'm talking to these people. I'm like, all right. And then the president of the caucus at the time, look, I'm for the caucus, against the caucus. Now I'm for the caucus again. And I'm sort of pissed at, well, we'll just let that go. But it was, you were this outside opposition group, what was it? Let's Do Better, and like, you guys are horrible, you're mean, and we had to pitch in money to, contest the election. Yeah. And then I'm like, wait a minute. All right. So the thing was over, and I'm like, I met you. I'm like, that's a cool lady. Why don't you come on and say what the hell happened? And it's just, that's kind of where I get so pissed that so much wasted energy. I mean, it took you 4 years. I got it. Great. And you're a Lake Forest resident for what, a couple decades?
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure everybody knows, hey, that this is what the process is. And unless you don't like what's going on in the current system, then it is your right to contest it, but at least do some homework first, and which you did. So I'm so proud of you, Lori, and all the naysayers out there. Now you're back to evil again. You're like me.
I know. You just can't win.
I think it's one naysayer or two naysayers.
Maybe two.
On,
That's okay. That's okay.
Keyboard warriors on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
I do my best to be a warrior on there, but it's and you know what? Anybody that I'm disagreeing with, yes, I'm using ChatGPT. Continue.
Are you losing your voice, Pete?
I caught a little love at Chiefs, I think.
Chiefs. He's still recovering.
Is there like
Yeah, stick to
we need to
tequila.
notify the health department or
All right.
what?
Oh, it's not like 2020. No, I'm not quarantined,
You know,
but
going back to that, Lori, brought up a good point about what was going on 4 years ago with the schools and stuff. And I think fair to say a lot of lessons were learned in that, not just on a national basis, but just I think talking to a lot of people with the school district,
Yeah,
looking back, they admit, hey, we would have done this differently. You know, hindsight's 2020,
yeah,
but you know, there were a select amount of kids that were medically vulnerable. And we certainly wanted to protect those kids, but the vast majority of COVID deaths were elderly or people with pre-existing conditions. And like I said, we want to protect those folks. But keeping the kids home from school has turned out to be a real disaster for the country, I
right,
think, in many ways. I
right.
can attest to it firsthand as a parent. I see with my own with my own kids, as well as some of their friends and classmates, that their social development is not what it should be for their age, and they
Yep.
missed out on a lot of stuff. My daughter didn't get to go on the Springfield trip in seventh grade. Now we were in Glenview at the time, not Lake Forest, so I don't know how they do it here, but she didn't get to go on the Springfield trip, the Washington trip, you know, in eighth grade, all that stuff that she missed out on, and athletes missed out on sports. The Glenbrook North high school football quarterback committed suicide because, you know, and there probably were other issues at play if it led to that, but there was just, we unleashed a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still recovering from it. And our test scores too, you know. So
yeah,
it's
what's
the social emotional learning. And then yeah, I mean, if you look at our test scores as well, like we've got, you know, we're still recovering and getting our kids academically back on track because let's face it, they weren't learning anything at home, sitting at home.
now there's certain stuff you can say and you can't say, Lori, because you know you're at the next level now, but people want to know what the hell is going on. And I'm trying to get a handle on Philippe and those other two knuckleheads. Um, Fine, give information, but don't be a gotcha group. You know,
Right.
I I've talked to Matt and you know on the high school side. I have not talked to whomever on the 67 side.
Well, Matt's the superintendent for
Matt's
67
superintendent.
as well.
Yeah.
Well,
Matt's
he's oversees both, but you
and
know,
then yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just trying to. People get these emails all over the place, and there's something called FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Okay, and we just want to know what is the data that I can look at and say, okay, this is what should have been done, and this what should not have been done. Because in 67, Laura, you don't have to talk about, but I'll ask Joe, what is all this crap that's been going on in 67 that
With the
sexual
hiring.
predator, or whatever the
Yeah.
hell that crap is. What's been going on, and is there anything better that we can do to be transparent? Because my beef with those parents group people is they'll go out there, point the finger, and the people that are actually got to investigate this stuff, they can't act as quick as parents care because they have to go check and get all the facts. Is that right? How should I
Yeah.
be looking in that? What should the parents know what the hell is going on?
Yeah. I I'll answer it. And we need to let you stop talking because it just pains me to hear how
Get some tea, Pete.
go get a Hall's mental limpets.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll do the interview. Type the questions, Pete,
there
and
you
I'll
go.
read
Type the question. We need to. All right, go do a shot. I think everybody needs to remember that Matt is also a parent in the district, right? And he's a taxpayer. So he gets to, you know, he gets to see everything wearing three hats and through three different lenses. And I think we need to lend him a little bit of grace because he inherited a little bit of a hornet's nest here. You know, I mean, the way things were left after Simek and Chala left, and the sentiments from the community were not very good by and large, right?
For the people that don't know, can you just summarize what the issues were real quick?
The current issue with the hiring.
No, Simek, and just what Simek guy,
Isn't he the superintendent now in Deerfield or something?
He's in Deerfield right now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, so they were around during the whole COVID thing, and were instrumental in making sure that we were shut down. But I think there was a lot more going on specifically at the high school. I've personally noticed a big difference in the level of attention and engagement that my oldest received. He was at the high school during the Chala years versus what my youngest, who's currently at the high school, he's a junior there now. I've seen a drastic difference in the level of support and engagement just between those two kids. So I think Chala had an agenda. I'm going to be honest with that, and I don't think it was good for us. So I think Matt walked into a bit of a hornet's nest, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having a group like Parents Care, because they've kept a lot of us informed. But I think maybe the tone could be a little bit more collaborative between the school administration and Parents Care on both ends. No, not pointing fingers at anybody, but if I think both parties need to realize that we all have the same goal. Matt is a parent in the school district, as well as being the superintendent. So that he's not wanting to hire people that are sexual groomers, that he's not. And so I think let's just all level set and agree that there's a common interest and a common goal. And then let's figure out how we can, rather than work against each other, let's figure out how we can work together to achieve the same goal.
Level set. I got to use that, Joe. Did you learn that at Dell, Lori?
I don't know where I learned that. My kids.
I'm on a Dell computer right now for what it's worth, Lori, but this computer I'm on right now is a Dell.
Is it? Okay, I don't work there anymore, so.
Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah.
We'll edit that out in post.
Yeah.
But
I will tell you, Pete, I know I watched one of the previous episodes. So Tampon Tim has made its way to Illinois. I know there was some questions around that, and it did make its way here. I actually sent an email when I first heard about it. This was probably 4 years ago, and the district told me that it was a mandate by Governor Pritzker. So all of our boys.
So he'd be Tampon JB.
Tampon JB.
I'm going to give you my 2 cents on this.
Sure.
Oh God, put a log on the fire.
It's the tone of how things get said. Okay. There are kids with issues that or challenges that you want to address, just like any other types of situations, like if someone's, physically disabled or something like that. But I think, you do have when it affects everyone else in a negative way, that's where people get upset. And I think, this last election showed people are like, whoa,
so
put the brakes on this. Now, I can remember 20 years ago, a presidential election where the issue was same-sex marriages, and people were like, whoa, put the brakes on this. And now it's not even an issue that was discussed in the presidential election even. I mean, Trump didn't touch it. It's the law now under the Supreme Court decision.
Have you guys ever used a gender-neutral bathroom, a public all-gender bathroom?
Yeah, and
like a single person. Oh, okay.
Like a public open for all, but it could be a boy or a girl.
No,
I leave the seat up.
I mean, every bathroom in my house is gender neutral because.
But I mean, like a public. If you're in a public place. So I think the decisions need to be do no harm, and if you're making a decision that could potentially harm a group or even a single individual, then you need to rethink it. And the idea that there are there are kids out there that might have gender identity issues. Do we need to accommodate them? Absolutely. But the accommodation cannot then harm another group of kids. And if you have an all gender bathroom where boys are allowed to use a girls' public restroom where there's stalls, it's not single use, then I think you're putting 50% of your population at a potential risk. So there's, I go into the city for work, and we go to like a general WeWork office, like a shared office space. And one of the ones that we go to has like gender neutral bathrooms. And it's not a single use. It's you walk in and there's stalls, and there is no just a dedicated women's restroom. And I can tell you, every time I walk into that restroom, like my heart rate goes up, my senses go up, the spidey senses of like stranger danger. I could be at risk because, a man could come walking in here, and it would be so easy for them to just take a garbage can, throw it in front of the door, and then, you're in a compromised position. So I think in our schools, we need to accommodate if there are kids that, are having, gender identity issues, then absolutely we need to find a single use bathrooms, which we have at Lake Forest High School. We do have those. So I think that's a good thing. But you can't then go and put 50% of your population at potential risk by just opening the door and letting anybody come in and use a ladies' washroom.
Ironically, I can tell you the state office buildings, having been in quite a few, they're all men and women still.
Yeah.
I don't know of a single state office building. I hope Governor Pritzker isn't listening to this and get some ideas, but because these buildings were all built just like most schools were built and most public buildings were built with, okay, we need a set of men's washrooms and we need a set of women's washrooms. Yeah. And no one thought, now maybe future construction of newer buildings might take that into place and have some single-use bathrooms. I don't know how much of a demand there is, but
Kansas City Airport has a gender-neutral bathroom. Okay. And every time I have to fly through Kansas City, I make sure that I don't go over. Yeah.
So there's no men only and women only bathroom at KC?
They do have a men only and a women only, but then they also have a general all gender like public bathroom. Yeah, it's right after you go through security.
If it was up to me, I'd make everything single use. I would just, because I don't like being in a bathroom with anybody.
What are you talking about? You just go in the alley. If you're a guy, you go to the alley. The ladies get.
There you go.
You see that at the weekend of Lollapalooza. You see that all over downtown.
Yeah.
But
well, here's kind of another thing. I think it's going to help with Trump getting in this time. And God, can we stop with the identity politics? Yeah, I voted for Trump. I don't agree with all the stuff that he says, but I do like the horse in the race. I don't know about the jockey. Okay, leave it alone. So now people, I'm trying to think what this little fraction, these ticks of Lake Forest are going to come back and pitch a bitch with you that you're too conservative or whatnot. What's wrong with just your common sense?
Common sense. I know.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I don't care what you do, but don't force it on me. What's wrong with that? So now
I don't know what they like. The ones that I'm aware of, they don't even like know me on a personal level. So I don't know what the beef.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one. I don't even want to give it too much credibility.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, one Facebook page that sounds like, if you go back on their posts way back, it sounds like it's someone from Lake Bluff, actually.
Oh, really?
But then he or she, I don't know who it is,
I don't even know what you're talking about. So what?
Okay, well, there's a Facebook page that actually every once in a while does ads because it pops up in my feed and it says sponsored. So somebody's paying for ads.
Oh.
Which, again, my beef with that is just like I had a beef with the transparency.
Is this like an anti-school?
Yeah. I've sent you screenshots of it, Pete. But in any event, I don't want to say the name and give them too many fans, but I have a beef with anytime anybody can go on the internet and say their opinion. That's fine. And if you want to use an anonymous name or a fake name,
you're a douchebag.
Whatever. That's, you have less credibility, but okay, whatever. But if you're starting to pay for ads on Facebook or anywhere, spending money, that to me violates the spirit of campaign finance disclosure and transparency.
Well,
And
it
someone's
shows you
paying
that
for ads for that group. I don't know if it's just that person, and
are they
Facebook ads
political
aren't that
ads?
expensive.
Are they
Well, it's
political?
just it shows up in the feed and says sponsored. I'll find a screenshot and get it to you, Lori.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I just no different than LF, the transparency group that Pete has a different name for.
Yeah.
L4 Trans Group. Yeah.
Okay, no, they're not. Trans meaning abbreviation for transparency, but they do it. It happens, and again, they have a right to do it. But then, if the caucus takes out ads on Facebook or anywhere, they have to disclose that to the State Board of Elections. So, and if you had formed the Lori Fitzgerald for School Board Committee and you did ads on Facebook, you'd have to disclose that to the State Board of Elections.
Yeah.
So I think there's a double standard there. But getting back
the
to
irony, I don't know who runs that. I don't know who runs that page. I do know that
you seem very, very bitter.
Yeah, yeah. The irony in it was 4 years ago when I originally ran, and there was the upheaval, and Lori's racist and all this. Someone, I think I know who it is, but someone had reached out to my employer and filed an HR complaint against me, saying that I was racist and that I was running for school board because I only wanted to sell Dell computers to the school. And the irony was that at the time I was working with some public schools on the south side of Chicago, and bringing a concept like a business incubator class that we have at our high school that they don't have. And I was using the power of Dell and some of our other partners like Google, and getting them to put money and resources into these South Side schools so that we could provide, classes for these.
So they were donating the computers, basically.
underprivileged kids. So I just found it. I found it like really ironic that I was being accused of being a racist and trying to make money off the schools, when in actuality I was down donating my own time and resources and providing value to underprivileged schools.
These ticks. They're ticks.
You can't win. I swear to God.
I agree. I don't agree with them.
Well, here,
but this is not North Korea. People can dissent. I said, my line in the sand is, if you're going to pay for ads on Facebook or expend any money, signs, leaflets, whatever is the case, disclose it. Disclose it. I mean, that violates the spirit of transparency. And again, it's a double standard, because if you did that, or if the caucus did that, they would disclose it, because that's the law.
Let's get to politics, because I think this is where these people are going to pitch a bitch. It's the politics always plays a role. I don't care what you say, but it doesn't overtake common sense.
Right.
Okay.
It should.
Well, it shouldn't, but it's like I don't care who you are. Even when the caucus people say it's not political, look, I don't care what you say. You hang with your people, whatever it is. But you supposedly put it on the shelf, and then you get down to what is the core issue, and you try to get to it. So if somebody says, "Oh my God, she's so conservative," whatever, you're going to hear and listen things. First of all, you're going to stay awake during the school board meeting. That'll be a plus for.
I don't know, Lori. Having sat through 8 years of school board meetings, that's going to be a challenge. Trust me.
But
there's some boring moments in board meetings.
But how, like in the caucus process, because you were on the outside looking in, and now you're the inside, looking out. You've gone through the whole process. Have you seen politics come into play?
No. No. Because it's impossible. There's 43 members of the caucus. There is no way that all 43 members in that room have the same opinion. Not possible. And
like I said, I just use the city council as an example. You've got Era Gashgarian, who was a Democratic precinct committeeman for many years. as an alderman there on the council. So it's
Well,
not a
hold
V
on.
versus R.
Lori's gone through both. I want to hear her story, what she's, how the process worked with you so people can understand. Look, it's an imperfect process, but at least we're not Highland Park. Go ahead, Lori.
What does Highland Park do?
Oh my God.
People's Republic of Highland Park.
That's a whole
Well, number
nother.
one, they don't listen to the voters if you read the
Well,
coverage of
my
that
whole
issue.
point is I keep bringing up
That's a separate issue. And
Well,
their school board is completely separate. I don't think that Lake Forest is unique with a caucus that has a say on both municipal government and school boards because
Joe, your middle name is War and Peace. The problem with Highland Park is they had a caucus system similar, what we're doing here, and it turned into a liberal city. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is make sure people understand that why are we being so nitpicky? Because it can happen to us too. So that's why I bring up Highland Park. Now, getting back to you, Lori, because people want to bring up this political thing. You've been in and out, in and out. You've been through the interviews and you've seen it all. Describe the process so people can understand. And you know what? For the people that want to complain, if they don't have their resume and their volunteer profile sheet in to volunteer, then shut the F up. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what I've learned is that the process is extremely exhaustive. Like the people that are on that subcommittee, the amount of time that they spend sourcing volunteers, vetting volunteers, bringing them together to make sure that the community has the opportunity to meet all the volunteers, and then the official voting process. It's really lengthy, and these folks put in a ton of effort and a ton of time. It started for the school board. It started with a phone conversation, one-on-one phone conversation. They had a separate subcommittee that was looking for candidates for the school board, so it was a one-on-one phone conversation with someone from the subcommittee. And then if you make it past that phone conversation, you meet with the subcommittee, and it's a smaller group, maybe 12 people in the room. And they would just kind of go around the table and they would ask you questions, and you just, you're very transparent and in your answers. And they interviewed, a handful of candidates for just a small number of slots. And the subcommittee votes and narrows it down to what, the number of candidates that they want to go and put in front of, the entire caucus. So the 43 member, so there's 4 wards in Lake Forest. There's 9 people in each ward. And so that makes up your 43 member caucus committee. And so then the last interview was, you're literally sitting in a chair in the middle of a room with 43 people. It's a little bit intimidating. It is not an easy process. I will tell you that. It's a lot easier to go out and get 50 signatures on a sheet of paper and submit your own submit your own thing. But yeah, so 43 people, and they, and ask you questions, and then those 43 people vote on who they want to be the final candidate. So the selection process, I felt like, was rigorous, and with the intent of making sure that they put together a board that has, diverse views on all fronts. Like all the 4 people that we ended up with, I can promise you, we do not all think the same way. And that's how it's designed to be. The school board is nonpartisan. This is not political. It's our kids, it's making decisions and making sure that we're doing what's best for our kids. And it's important to have diversity of thought. And I think, they put in a lot of effort in the vetting process to make sure that they're getting candidates that don't all think the same and that have different backgrounds and can bring different strengths to the board. So I was very impressed with the process. They put in a ton of time, and we should all be thanking them for the work that they do. And honestly, if Pete, I don't know what your situation was, why you got kicked off, but the nonsense about, I've interviewed for promotions that I did not get. And you learn, like I said before, you learn more from your failure than you do your success. To try to like form a coup and overthrow, the caucus because you're not happy that you didn't get a promotion or what have you. All you're doing is you're proving them right.
Well,
They
to
made
answer your
that they
question,
made the right
Lori,
decision. You know, if
you brought it up. I'm trying to give you the
yeah,
floor, and you punch it back at me. It all depends on the leadership. Okay, I like the caucus now because of Joe Aridi. Now he's taken off. Regina, we'll see. I'm lukewarm. Lukewarm's like mild chicken soup. But
I like Regina.
I I got no beef. I got no beef. We'll see. We'll see. But it comes down to the leadership. When you have to, when a leader goes in front of a group and says, all things being equal, please vote for the female, I got an issue.
Oh,
I got an issue. Okay. And that was Nancy.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Everybody knows. And one of the key questions, and you brought this up, Lori, so it's your fault. One of the questions they ask is, how did you prepare for this meeting? And
yeah.
everybody will dissect, well, what did you, blah, blah, blah. Nancy's, and people have been kicked off because they didn't like their answer. Her answer was, I didn't do anything. Whatever. So that's my problem. Getting back
Yeah.
to the politics side of things, I heard, and I guess it's not true, so Phil Arouca isn't going to contest, or we don't know yet. The filing date.
No, the deadline's passed. He's not running.
Okay, all right.
Unless he
Phil,
runs as
you're
a
not
write-in.
running. You want to come on and reason I bring up Phil, he's part of that, and his wife is part of the Prue Beidler Lake Forest, I hate everything world of things. And part of the vetting process in politics is, you think it's fair to look at somebody's political contributions to kind of see where they're going? Because the reason I ask that is, if the school board or whatever position you have, it's not a political position, but you are donating a shit ton of money to a certain whether it's a Democrat or Republican party, should that be something that should be included in the vetting process?
I'm going to say yes, because I think it's important to be transparent, but I don't think that I don't think that you disregard somebody based on the fact that they made political donations. I think that you need to make it part of your vetting process and make sure that they can make decisions without looking through a political lens.
Well, and I don't think anyone, we're talking about the $1 million donor for Beidler. I don't think anyone disqualified her. Anyone in the caucus disqualified her
because of
in the three times that she appeared before them to be mayor because of her political donations. That what they said was, there's someone else better, whether it was Rob Lansing, whether it was George Pandelian, or whether it was Randy Tack. They all said, this is the better candidate, period. Right. And thanks for playing, but we're going to go with the best candidate here. And then, she did what she chose to do. And then I did what I chose to do, which was to bring that to light. And, and people have said, well, she has a right to do it. And I've always said, everyone has a right to give money to whoever they want politically, but then I have a right to speak out about it and to point it out to the community, and then the community members decide. Some people told me, I don't care what Prue.
It's just a data point. It's just a
gave, and I don't care about that. But other people said, thank you for letting me know she gave money to Kim Foxx. I don't want someone who supported Kim Foxx anywhere near the mayor's office. So everyone. It's all public information, and that's part of, it's like free speech. You have a right to say something, but then I have a right to say you're wrong. It's that's how it goes with that. And I think back to the caucus question, you just pointed out the caucus has no agenda. It is not an arm of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. And that's not the case in some other communities where the caucus essentially is an arm of the local Democratic Party or the local Republican Party, depending on where you are. Around here, it's probably Democrat, but I can point to some places like in McHenry County where it's probably a Republican. So, but the caucus has stayed out there because this is not a slam dunk community one way or the other. Kamala Harris won Lake Forest, but so did Mary Cole. So this is not a blue town, and this is not a red town. This is a purple town.
Yeah.
Well, I think what Trump has shown us by doing Joe Rogan, people, at least younger people, they don't want to see 6-minute edited bits of information. They want to see somebody in a conversation and make a judgment for themselves. That's kind of what we did with this podcast. So anybody that wants to take a clip of something you said, whatever, how many years ago, versus 60 minutes of you talking, I think that's one of the things that has come to light, at least with the popular vote. People said, "What do you say, Joe? The people have shouted." Well,
I don't think they shouted in this one, Pete.
No, but
he's not getting. He won the popular vote, but he didn't.
Can't get over it.
He's below 50% now.
Yeah.
Oh, bull crap.
He is.
Bull crap.
And there's actually less. He has less votes than the 2020 election.
Come on, California's got to be done.
They're still counting. They're still counting. And Illinois wasn't done until yesterday, actually. But I don't know why California takes so long if they just have a longer process. But he will end up with more votes than Kamala Harris. He'll have what's called a plurality, but he will not have a majority. But
dude,
the same thing. Let me finish.
Let me finish.
The same thing applies to Bill Clinton. Both times he ran. He won the Electoral College both times pretty clearly in 92 and 96, but he did not get, and he won the popular vote with a plurality, not a majority, both times, 92 and 96. He did not go above 50%. So the last president, Biden was above 50% in 20. And then you have to go back 2012. I think Obama was above 50% both times he ran, and George W. was above 50% the second time he ran in 2004 against Kerry. So, but again, I go back to
get over it.
I don't think the popular vote. Hold on, time. Let me finish my point, Pete.
Yeah,
the popular vote is irrelevant. The popular vote is irrelevant because these campaigns don't run their organization and their get out the vote operations for popular votes. They run them for electoral votes because that's how, if you tell me that the number of hits wins a baseball game instead of the number of runs, I'm going to completely change my strategy of how I play a baseball game. Same thing with this is I'm sure that if the popular vote mattered, Trump would have been and Harris too, would have been in every single county in California, would have been in every neighborhood in LA, every neighborhood in New York City, every neighborhood in Chicago, Dallas, all these places that are not swing states, but have high populations. So I think the popular vote's a misnomer. It's kind of a barometer, like when we see certain things. But I don't think you can judge it based on that. That said, I don't think.
I'm sorry Nikki Haley didn't win, Joe. I'm sorry.
Well, so am I, because she would have had Reagan.
I know, I see that. My
she
point
would have had
is
Ronald Reagan numbers, and the party and I think Mary Cole would have won here. But that's.
You think Nikki Haley would have had Ronald Reagan numbers?
She would have had better numbers than Trump. I can tell you that.
That's not the question.
Yeah,
she asked.
Yes, I do think she would have had Ronald Reagan numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Against Kamala Harris? Absolutely. Okay. Or Joe Biden? Absolutely.
Yeah.
The difference between the 2020 election and now, when you look at the state of the United States, I mean, the whole United States, you see red with a lot of blue dots. Okay. We're in one of the blue dots. I get it. But the swings in what happened then and now, people are looking for something new. I think the pendulum that's been going over here on the wokeness is coming back over here and say, you know what? I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. I just don't want you to be an idiot, especially with my kids. Okay, the kids is a big issue. So that's kind of where, the political thing, even though the caucus doesn't do it, okay, they don't look and see if how you voted or whatever. They don't ask you those questions. Yeah, there are clicks at the end of the day. But discerning information and making a judgment call with the best information possible, it's the best game in town. Because if you don't have this, then you have whoever has the most money, like Prue Beidler, that can just go and buy lawn signs and win an election. That's
a lot more than lawn signs she's been on, but yeah.
I'm out of
Lori, let's talk about Lori. Since it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point that you will be on the school board. Are you on a 67 school board, which is what, Deer Path, and what are the schools that make up 67?
Sheridan, Cherokee, Everett, and Deer Path.
Okay, so those schools, because there are parts of the city that are not in 67, right? If I'm not mistaken, parts of Lake Forest, or am I?
No, you're thinking Lake Bluff and Knollwood because they feed into
Okay.
school.
So
They
the
all
entire
feed
city
into-
of Lake Forest is in District 67. Okay.
Well,
So
there's unincorporated Lake Forest that's out west that feeds over to the Roundout.
fake forest.
And then
So,
they go
yeah.
to Libertyville, but they go to Libertyville.
Okay. Ooh, sorry. But so what's your plan? Are you talk about has the school district reached out to you, like kind of giving you like onboarding and
Not yet. Yeah,
show and
not
tell
yet.
or any of that?
Not yet. I think we have to get through the April 1st election to make it final. But I'm keeping up to date with the school board meetings, and Matt Montgomery said that he was going to schedule time to get together with all of us one-on-one and just grab coffee. So just, keeping up to date with what's going on, so that we can jump right in.
Dr. Montgomery said he's going to come back on the show. So needless to say, we vouch for you, Lori, and we just try to bring up things ahead of time. So when these people want to get clips on their website,
Is there a clip of me that I haven't seen?
Oh, I'm sure they'll do something unless they're having a slow
Use
news.
AI. Use AI to.
AI is great. Absolutely love it. But what are the things with the grade schools that you want to look at that you think what kind of issues do you think will be brought up that you got to make a judgment call, just doing the research you've done already?
Yeah, so obviously the situation that happened over the summertime with the TA that was hired at Cherokee, like I said before, I don't think, Matt's a parent. He's, there's no malicious intent there. I think, we just need to have a little bit of a better recruiting process. The outcome of that situation was that we were going to get a consulting company to look at our hiring practices. So like whether we do, I assume it's whether we do reference checks and that type of thing. I have to be honest, like being and Pete, you probably know because you've got a sales background. It's like garbage in, garbage out. And if your recruiting pool is all garbage, then that's what you get. You get garbage. So I think we need to do a better job of our recruiting and sourcing of candidates on the front end. We have a phenomenal community. Our school has, phenomenal financial support. We should be the creme de la creme. Like this is the district where all the high, the top end, best of the best teachers want to get into this district. We have a lot to offer. And so I think we just need to do a better job of sourcing quality candidates. And then you're not going to, you've got a pool of good quality candidates. You're not going to have what happened. And you're not going to, yes, you're going to do reference checks. That's like, we do, come on.
You hold on, Laura, you brought up the sales thing. Okay.
Yeah.
There's pass the trash. Oh, this person sucks, but I don't want to fire them. Go through the HR headache. I'm going to recommend them to somebody else or sell them to go to another team. And then, okay, good. Got rid of that one. Because you don't want churn. You don't want to show.
Well, there's been two incidences of trash being passed to 67. There was the one over the summer with the aide, but then there was the guy that had been teaching there for a few years, right? And then it finally came out about his background.
Right. You can't pass the trash.
Well, Dr. Montgomery brought up that one dude. He was in two school systems, so you can only deal with with the resources that you have. Lori, this isn't your opinion, it's my opinion. I already told Dr. Montgomery, fire the head of HR, okay, and move on. That's bullcrap. I don't know why. Are the unions that strong still? Jesus. Yeah, anyways.
I think so.
I think the head of HR is in the union though.
I've never gotten a candidate from like an internal recruiter. Like we do it when I have to hire somebody. We do a job posting, And a gazillion people, everybody wants to come work for Zscaler. It's a cloud cybersecurity company. That's not how you find good people. Good people are not looking for a job. You need to go out, use your network, and find the good people, and then you need to sell them on why they should come work here. That's how you find good people.
Is there I'm hearing from a lot of veteran teachers that with all the stuff the federal government has put in the last few years with all the national goals and I can't remember all the names of the programs that they've come up with, but that there's a lot of people leaving the profession, and it's going to be a challenge to get more teachers. Do you think that comes into play even in a district like Lake Forest?
I think it comes into play because, yes, the pool of good candidates is getting smaller, but we're in a unique position because our community has a lot to offer that, it's going to be harder, but, we have the ability to attract top talent. I firmly believe we have the ability to attract top talent, but yes, the pool is getting smaller.
I think,
you also need to look at like kids that are from Lake Forest that came through our school district. My kids had a teacher over at Deer Path who was she grew up in Lake Forest. She went through the Lake Forest school system, went off to college for her, to major in teaching. And then she came back and she's a teacher here in our district. Like, we need to make sure that we're keeping in touch with our alumni. Our alumni network of kids that graduate from Lake Forest High School and go on to become teachers. Let's make sure that we're keeping in touch with them and potentially bringing them back as well.
and people got to know, you had kids through the system. You still got them in the system? Sounds like jail. Okay.
High school though, right? You're done with
yeah.
Elementary.
Yeah.
Good job, Mom. Kudos to you. Question.
It's always a challenge, but yeah, we're getting there.
Single mom too. I mean, that's a lot of ass kicking. So one of the issues I think that will come up that hasn't been addressed is how AI is going to play a role, and people are not going to like any of this, but the old system of doing the way they do homework is antiquated. It's almost like doing multiplication tables up on the board. How do you think AI is going to play a role? Because my opinion is, in order for kids to learn, they don't care if they fail, but they care if they let a group fail. So if you give them a group project and say, here, do this, come up with, use AI, whatever it is. Here's the problem. Here's the solution. Critical, you think your way through it. How should you let AI be a part of the classroom? Because I don't know if it is now, but you still have a kid, going through. How do you think it's going to play a role, you being on the school board?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to play a role because I don't know how influential the board can be over the curriculum and what we're teaching our kids. That's something that I'll find out. But I agree. My kids use AI all the time to generate paragraphs. My youngest was putting his resume together because I told him he has to go get a job, and he's using AI. He's using AI. So if anybody's looking to hire a 16-year-old, let me know.
Getting mixed dough, Mary, got some help for you.
There you go.
Joe and Urso. Need a burger flipper?
I told him to look at Duffers. But so they use AI or Chat GPT or whatever to put their paragraphs together. And I've got to believe that the teachers have so we use at my job, obviously criminals try to use AI to crack into and hack companies, and we use AI to counteract and to predict. We can actually predict breaches before they happen. So I have to believe that the teachers have a tool or a way to also see whether kids are using AI to do their homework and to write, essays and that type of thing.
My angle on it was more so you're going to be dealing with budgets. And look, do you need the amount of headcount that you have now? Boy, it's a sticky wicket. I mean, look what they're trying to do. They want to get the feds out of the government and bring it back to the states. I'm just wondering how this will play a role to support head counts. Boy, that's going to get some people fired up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We will find
Good
out.
answer. Good answer.
We'll find
Is
out.
there any glaring issue, Lori, that besides what you've talked about already, that, hey, Dr. Montgomery, let's sit down and talk, that we got
So here's
to.
and yeah, so there is one thing that I want that and I don't think it's a glaring issue, but that I am interested in learning more about is that I feel like we have a gazillion AP classes and everybody's in them. And it used to be where like really only the like really, really smart kids were in AP classes. And that was you, Pete. You took AP journalism.
All
He was in AP gym.
AP gym.
I was a
Let me tell you, I didn't take any AP
AP
classes.
driver's ed. Called NASCAR.
But I feel like this and so we are taking away from something to supply all of these AP classes. And my fear is that we're lumping kids together and we're losing the bottom 10-15%. That's my
Now
fear.
that's more the high school though than
Well,
67, right?
So it starts at District 67, and we're lumping kids together at District 67 to feed the additional AP classes that are being offered at the high school. So that's just my like, hey, would love to learn more kind of, no agenda there, just would love to learn more because I've seen this shift and I've been the benefactor of it. My daughter took AP classes through junior year and senior year, so she went off to Auburn and she had credits already. But I also know that she's not like next level genius. She just works really hard. And so I would love to learn more, like why do we have so many kids taking AP classes and what's the fallout of that?
I can give you the short answer. Why? Because parents want to save some tuition credits. It's a lot cheaper to take an AP class at the high school than the class in college.
That is
So,
true. That
I mean,
is
my
true.
son entered college as a sophomore because of all his AP and CLEP stuff, and so that saves us 1 year of tuition. But it's a good point, though. I've often wondered about
I've spoken
the
to a
other
lot of
kids.
I've talked to a lot of families who have IEPs. My niece is one. I've got a friend, a couple of friends also that have
IEP, what's
children.
that?
Individual education plan. And from what I'm hearing from some of the parents is that the IEPs are not as supported as they once were. So just for those bottom kids to get them up.
And when you get on the board, you're one of seven, right? So nothing happens without at least three other board members agreeing
Right.
with you. So you have to be collaborative and working with other people who, and selling your ideas to other people, because this is, as you said, an ideologically diverse school board.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's not unlike and honestly, it's not unlike the corporate world. Like, I don't know how some people could say like, oh, you're a conservative, you're going to come in and like that, that's not how it works, right?
Elon.
Like, you work with, with people. I work with people who have all, kinds of differing views on everything and, political and social and, that have different, races and religions and you come together and you agree to disagree on things that don't matter and it doesn't affect how you feel about someone and you respect them and you make decisions and you move forward for the betterment of the team and the group. So
Well, you had a sales background, and like as you said, I had a sales background. I don't care if you're green, white, polka dot, whatever, gay, straight, whatever.
get the job done.
I got to hit a number that the damn board gave me that's so inflated that I need the best people, whoever they are.
to achieve the common goal, and that's it. Okay?
And with your customers, everybody's money is green, right? So it doesn't matter what their background is.
Unless you're a bakery.
Well, if I owned a bakery, everybody's money would be green.
Whoopi Goldberg.
I want as many customers as I possibly can have.
Whoopi Goldberg cannot get her cupcakes, and I feel I have to gonna reach out to her and see if I can help her. Mary, we got to send Whoopi some of your Gerhardt's cupcakes. Lori Fitzgerald, always a straight shooter. Love it.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, sorry for the voice, but you know what? We show up every week.
I know.
The truth.
I hope you feel better.
I feel
So are you
great.
going to keep running? Is the school board thing going to stop you from running marathons?
Oh yeah, we got to touch on that.
Never. So I'm going to do some West Coast runs. I've signed up for 2 in California right now. And then for the first time, I'm going to be a pacer in a half marathon down in Nashville. It's a USA women's half. So any women who want to try to run under a 2-hour half marathon, reach out, and so I'm gonna be the pacer, and my goal is gonna be to get those ladies in at 1:59:59.
Once you've run these marathons, running for school boards, a piece of cake.
Nothing.
Well, Laura, you achieve your goals, whether it's sales or marathons. Do you got that medal around?
No, I don't. It's up in my gym.
All right, I'll put it up.
Oh, but I do have here.
You have a gym in your house?
Go get it.
Hold on.
You have a gym in your house?
It's in my garage. It's in my garage. But I do have something. Wait, I have something cool. Hold on. Something cool to show you. This is better.
The nice fireplace there.
So this is actually better than the big medal. So when I was flying back from Berlin, I got off the plane, and a guy in the baggage claim comes up to me. He's like I forget what his title was, and I can't even remember his name now, but he works for Abbott, and he's like some VP at Abbott or whatever. But he gives me, do you know what a challenge coin is?
I think you talked about this on the last podcast with us or something.
No, I didn't.
You talked about Abbott. I remember that.
Is that like AA when I
Well, there's like 28 VPs of Abbott living in Lake Forest, but
it's your AA chip. It's your AA chip, Pete. So no, a challenge coin, it actually has roots in the military. And so when someone has shown that they have the values and the character, and you want to say that you are now part of us, you give them a challenge coin. And so I was standing at the baggage claim when I got off the plane. I didn't talk about this, Joe, because this just happened like a month ago. And so one of the VPs at Abbott was on my flight, and he says, "Oh, what did you think of the race?" And I didn't have a very good race, so I dogged it and told him it was horrible. But then when I found out who it was, I said, "No, never mind. I love the Abbott races," which I do. But so he gave me the Abbott challenge coin, and it's got the 6 flags on the one side, all the 6 flags and your 6 stars. And then on the other side, it says, "At our healthiest, we can unlock all that life has to offer."
And if you buy Abbott products, you'll be at your healthiest.
Drop
right?
the mic, Lori Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
I think that's better than. I think this is better than the big medal.
Yeah.
So
Lori, this is the fourth or fifth time we've had you on. Anybody that wants to know more about you, this is 2024. If you want to see 2021 or whatever it was, you've always been the same straight shooter. So District 67's getting a good one. Can't wait to see you do some good. Lori Fitzgerald, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Lori.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey, all right, let me get a toddy. Bye.
Michelle Parnell has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, and J.M.